Cecilia, are you there? Are you ready? She's raising her hands. Yes, yes. Okay, awesome.
Thank you, Isa.
You're
Thank you, Jean
welcome.
Sunoco. It was such a lovely evening with you all. So today we're going to make some wontons. This is a great activity to do with the family if you have any young children or, even actually children of any age. They would be very super helpful in the kitchen with you. So the recipe is on the Vision and Voices page for the sweet and salty panel. So if you want to just follow along with me or watch and then do it maybe this weekend. So in the original recipe, it calls for 8 ounces of ground pork. But unfortunately, sometimes due to the pandemic, we are not able to get the ingredient that the recipe calls for. So today I have 8 ounces of ground beef, which is totally okay. If you do choose a pork or a beef option, make sure you opt for the one that has more fat because fat is flavor. So I put the 8 ounces of beef in the bowl, in my mixing bowl. And then I'm also adding 8 ounces of shrimp that I chopped up. Not sure if you can see, but I left the shrimp to be a little bit more chunky so that you get the bouncy texture of the shrimp in your wonton. And then I'm going to go ahead and add all of my aromatics. I have chopped ginger, shallots, I wish this was live so you can smell all the aromatics. Garlic, green onion, and then I'm also going to add some soy sauce. I chose a light soy because I don't want it to be overly salty, especially later we're going to season our wonton filling with some salt and pepper. So I did choose a light soy sauce. You can find this at an Asian market. Sesame oil. This actually, I was introduced to this delicious nutty sesame oil from Sunoco. So she probably has the resource on her website to purchase this white sesame oil. And the sesame oil is great because it's going to impart a nutty flavor into your wontons. And last but not least is the Shaoxing wine. If you don't have this cooking wine at home, you can just use cooking sherry. That's totally fine. And once you have all your ingredients combined in your bowl, you're just going to mix it by hand so it all comes together. So more or less it should look like that. Okay? And so while that is marinating, I'm going to change my gloves so I can go ahead and start assembling the wontons into the wrapper. And also, while you're doing that, this is a great time to also heat up your saute pan. I've chosen a cast iron just because I like the even heating of a cast iron and because it creates a really great char or sear onto the wonton wrappers. So if you're gonna do this activity with your children, say the recipe is like too small to feed your family, you can get them to do some math and multiply and scale your recipe up. Or if you need to scale down, and then get them involved and get some of that school standards, grade level standards into your home activity. I don't know if you can see it, but my pan is actually starting to smoke and get a little bit hot, which is great because you want that heat. So next, I'm gonna go ahead and grab my wonton wrappers. Sometimes out of refrigeration, these kind of stick together. So my tip is like to use a fist and just twist so that the wrappers fan out and separate, so it's easier for you to assemble your wontons. All you need is the back handle of a spoon. And what you're going to do is take one wrapper, place it into the palm of your hand. You're going to take the back handle of your spoon and just portion about a tablespoon worth of filling, place it into the center of your wonton wrapper, and you're going to fold and gather the ends, and then use your thumb and index finger to push the filling up so that it fills, and then release the handle, and then you have your wonton. Okay, so these wontons are great. You can also lay them flat, single layer into a container, just like what I'm doing right now, and they freeze really well. So if you want to like plan ahead and have these wontons frozen and then take them out to cook, that would be great. Thank you. So while my pan is heating up and I am assembling these wontons, if you see that your pan is heating up, that's probably also a really great time to start putting your oil into the pan. So I'm gonna actually do that. I like to use grapeseed oil because the flavor is neutral and the smoking point is lower than, say, a canola oil or an olive oil. And all you need is about maybe like a teaspoonful. I don't know if you can see in my pan. And you're just gonna swirl the oil around so that it coats the bottom of your pan really well. And then you're gonna place your wontons in a single layer right next to each other. I'm gonna do a few more. So initially, you do want your wontons to sear in the pan for about 3 to 5 minutes so that it gets a golden color on the skin. That's going to develop a crispy crust on your wontons. Do one more. I can hear the pan sizzle. Okay, so I'm going to put that in. Just let it char up or sear up for a little bit. And now, since these have meat in them, you definitely want to make sure that you're cooking them through. Right now, you can tell that they're pretty soft. So later what we're going to do is check for firmness, and if it's firm enough, then we know that it has been cooked all the way through. And while that's going, I'm just going to continue assembling more for later because I have a crew to feed on this side of the screen. They've been working really hard and making sure that this streams for all of us. So again, just wrap, pinch with your thumb and index finger. Okay, now I'm just gonna check and see if it's seared a little bit. See how it's a little bit golden? I don't know if you can see. Can we zoom in? It's getting a little bit golden. So I'm gonna leave it alone, but I am going to add a little bit of vegetable stock. Earlier, one of our viewers asked the question about what to do with discards or waste. Again, I like to make vegetable stock. I just put all of my scraps and ends into a pot, cover it with water, bring it to a boil and let it simmer for maybe about 30 minutes, and then I strain and I get a flavored stock. So I'm just gonna drizzle a little bit into my pan, and I'm gonna put a lid over the wonton so that it steams and cooks for about 5 minutes, and then I'm gonna check on them. And also, you know, as you're wrapping, sometimes like we might not know our own strength, like the earlier one, the wrapper busted. No big deal, you just unwrap it, put it back into the bowl, and just grab another wrapper. It is a very forgiving recipe. There we go. Okay. I'm gonna take these off and I'm gonna check on the wontons. So they're still a little bit soft, but what I'm going to do is flip them because I love crispy, and by flipping them, that just increases crispy surface area because I'm gonna get crispy wontons on both sides. Okay, I'm gonna let that finish up cooking. And so on the website, in addition to the pork shrimp variation, there's also a mushroom chive variation for one of our viewers who had a question about vegan recipes. I love Chinese chives. They're much thicker and bigger than the chives that we normally find in the supermarket. The flavor is almost reminiscent of ramps. It's a really delicious allium. I love eating chive dumplings and wontons, so that's a really good alternative to the meat wonton. Also here, I went to the farmer's market this past weekend, and right now peppers are in season. In the plum sauce recipe that's on the website, I'm also using red jalapeno peppers. You can use the fresh form or the dried form. Right now, Calabrian peppers are in season. They're really delicious and sweet, not too spicy. And also right now is the end of the season for plums. So these are from K&K Ranch, and the beautiful burgundy color when you cook down your plums will impart this really beautiful red-orange color. At the lighting, I don't think you can see it, but it is like a red orange. Okay, so now I'm gonna check my wontons. So they are definitely firm. So it looks like they're ready to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and plate up. And there you have it. Beef shrimp wontons. So I hope you guys enjoy and try out the recipe soon.